Thank you.
Before starting the event of today, which is called What is the Value of a Design System and How to Measure It? A quick words about us. I'm Giulio, the host for today, and I'm here with Sara.
Ciao, happy to be here.
You want to tell hello to anyone at home?
No, we're fine.
Okay.
Ciao, mamma.
I was about to tell my mother, not yours.
Mean, yeah, probably.
Cringe. So the agenda for today, we will go through why results are important. I mean, it's not something that we invented in Belka, but still it's pretty relevant as of today. How to measure design system metrics and what does the design system bring the most value. So some scenarios where the value is really hitting the nail in the precise spot. At the end of it, we will have plenty of time for question and answers, but feel free to send us your questions anytime so we can load up the things while we're doing it. If this is the first time that you are participating to one of our webinars, well, welcome. It's very nice to have you today. We are Belka and we are specialized in design systems. Why? Because we saw that companies that have a design system are growing faster. They are quicker to execute on strategies that are real time and very tense and stuff that you need to do for yesterday, which is never fun. And it is also very useful on the long term. So it's a tool that helps you deliver interfaces in a proper way. We worked through the years with a lot of different brands. Some of those are in this slide. For the people from very far, probably you know about Red Bull, and the other not so much. For the people in Italy, probably most of them are very and the EU as well are very common. Some cases have been the spiagge, which is like the most Italian way you can implement Airbnb. So it's like Airbnb, but to book a place in a beach under the sun. The other one, still very Italic, it's about bureaucracy, is the invoicing. The most used invoicing system in Italy is called Fattura in Cloud. It has more than 500,000 users per month. And the last one is Indigo, which is kind of like a new way to interact with people thanks to AI to help the delivery of the care, the magic towards the customers through AI. What does all those projects have in common? Well, first of all, Belka, and the second, we work with design systems to make sure that the project was properly delivered and the team will have the means to get the gears in place for the next project, thanks to the design system. For the one of you wondering, will I have this material if I want to share with my friends or my colleagues or my dog? Yes, you can have that through our newsletter. So if you opted in during the subscription to the webinar for the emails, you will receive it later on. If not, you can do it now. It's belkadigital.com/newsletter. You can have all the material about design system that we released so far. Moreover, we will release the recording of the webinar and all the material that we will produce in the future. So if you had a good time during the webinar, make sure to find that. Enough about me. I will leave the room to Sara, and thanks again, everyone, to be here. Let's go.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Giulio. A few months ago, we ran a research project where we interviewed more than 25 digital product teams working with design systems to understand their challenges, their problems, how are they doing with many aspects of design system, including how are they eventually measuring the results of their design system. We found out interesting insights, and we're going to share with you just in a while. First of all, the basics. So we understood that many people think that design system is like a set of components or a library of components, while we know that design system actually is the set of practice that you have around these artifacts, these practices that you build with your team and within your company. Yes, I know, but that's the truth. I need to say that. So there are a lot of things included in design system. Rituals, who is the owner, how are you documenting things, all of this is of course included in the design system word and needs to be mentioned, even if it's painful sometimes. It's the truth. But today we're here to discuss about measuring the value of the design system, why and how to do that, how to prove results of a design system, and we will also discuss a couple of, let's say, misunderstandings about the metrics.
Can I guess? It's because business said so.
Of course. How dare you? Somebody will ask you about the results. That's a fact.
Usually the CFO, like, why are you doing that? Like, because it works.
But I mean, we are also here, and if you are if you join this Zoom call, you're probably interested as well in the results topic, let's say. So we in Belka, we love results. We love talking about results. But again, if you are here, you probably love results too. That's no surprise. Like, great mind takes alike. So
if you don't, it's a good moment to write in the chat, I hate results, so we can get an idea of the climate
of the vibe,
of the room. Yeah, because we can see you in the face. It's super cringe.
We need thank you.
All right.
We still need to mention a couple of things about results, like why results are so important. We are in the business of results, but results are at the core of a digital product because they are facts that show a positive change happening in the direction that you want to drive in. Also, results allow you to ask for more resources on a specific topic or on a specific initiatives. And last, being they good or bad results, they allow you to make a better decision in the future, to change things or to improve things. And that's why results are so important. I don't know what, Giulio, what comes to your mind when you think about results or measuring or value of things?
I think about my math teacher during high school, which I believe she wasn't impressed with my results.
Not really. Okay. Well, when I think about results, what I have in my mind regarding digital products is like a big dashboard of like metrics and KPIs or trends or like these sort of things where you have like, we are doing good, bad, or trending over time, like a really complicated things where you measure like a lot of things and you have scorecards and KPIs and so on, like a lot of things. And regarding this type of, let's say, images that you have in your mind when you think about results, I was wondering, like, is this something that also people feels and thinks when thinking about design system? Like, is it common? Does it match with design system word?
I don't know.
Well,
Enrico, what do you think about results? Like, what's the first word that you have in mind? Money. All right.
Wow.
Okay.
So powerful.
That's very romantic of you. I know people in the chat, if you have any other idea, we're happy to have like a small brainstorming session. Yeah, but it's a very vague word, right? You can interpret in a lot of different ways. Well, so
yes, but still, like a lot of people talks about, results.
They're
and
comparing you to Mr. Crab.
It works. Actually, thinking about results is not something that only we do, of course, and not you. We are not alone, let's say, in the results world. Lots of people have wrote things about that. Really, a lot of people have this question about what is the relation between metrics and design system, or design system and results. How can I prove that my design system as a result has an impact on the product?
It's a hard question.
It's a hard question. It's a very good question. We'll try to tackle that with a story right now, because we, as I mentioned, we talked about this topic with the guys and the people in general that we interviewed during last year. And we heard a lot of stories. One of the most, let's say, memorable was this story about a person and a company that we won't mention, but let's take like a random name to explain this story, like La Sara. Okay, for example, we will have La Sara from the design.
It really sounds like your name.
I mean, it's just like a placeholder.
All right, it's random.
Okay, Sara and her team,
we call it La Sara.
They're building their design system. Okay, they're doing great. So we have the foundation.
Good for you, La Sara.
Yes. Solid foundation. Yes, we have components. Yes, we have tokens. We have everything in place. We are doing great. We are implementing that.
Are you using Figma, Sara?
Yes, of course. I mean, we are using the last updates, all like the variable settings and whatever.
Is it responsive?
Like everything.
That's great. Congrats.
Thank you. I was really proud of that work. So imagine that we have everything in place. We are also implementing that on the product. So the design system is living on the product. Great. We are tracking the components update. We have a roadmap. We are also measuring the adoption. So we are doing a lot of things around design system. So much that we are asked at the end of the year to present the work to the company all hands meeting at the end of the year.
Look at you.
Great, incredible.
Yeah,
look the stage, I mean, Oh, we're doing great. So I come up to this stage with my slides to present the work of the team. We have a moment of shine. We are shining in the world of results. So we have new components, and we also improved the token naming, and we also updated all the typography.
And we finally switched to Sketch. Maybe next time.
Let's say we are showing a lot of results. We are showing all the initiatives we had during the year. And then we have a raising hand from the public.
I think this is Alex from marketing. Yeah.
Alex has a question.
Yeah.
What is Alex?
What do you think, Alex?
What is going to ask?
Very shy.
Alex asks, do you have any metrics regarding this word? I mean, like a lot of initiatives and so on.
Come on, it was so fun at this moment.
I know, but Sara and her team, they were ready to this question. And they're like, we know we had to tackle the metrics question.
Good for you.
So we are so proud to share that we also measure the adoption. So we are able to say as a meaningful results that all the team of our company are using the design system up to 60% on the design and development side. So this is like a stunning results. From our side, we are very proud to say that it took a lot of effort to measure this metric, but we are really proud to share this result.
Good job.
Thank you. I think I'm done now. Like I have tackled the hardest question ever. We're fine.
Take that, Alex from marketing.
Isn't that? Alex is not good. Like he has another question. He asked, okay, great. Like, okay, we have the adoption metric, but how is this result linked to the product goals?
Classic Alex.
I mean, Alex, that's not nice from you.
I mean, we're in public. You could give this feedback.
It could be an email. Could it?
Right,
yes,
right.
So you're a bit disappointed at this point because you're like,
Sara.
Come on, yes, Sara. Look at her hair. I mean, she was a bit stunned. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, we track the adoption. We have all the metrics. Like, what else do you want? I mean, we track the adoption, which is like the #1 metric of all the articles I mentioned before.
Right.
You know, all the screens we took, we studied that, and all the links.
Adoption, right.
They mention adoption, measure the adoption. So we measure the adoption. Like, what are you asking for? More things. Okay, how is this linked to the product goals? It's actually the best question to force you thinking about what is the value of what you're doing in that moment. And this question about like, how is the design system bringing results for the product and how is it impacting the product? It's actually a topic we also tackled during the interviews. And we had a lot of people saying, we'd love to have metrics to our design system. But we don't have them. We know it's important, like it should be the next thing we do, like eating vegetables, like you know it's important.
Yeah.
But really few people are doing that in the proper way.
Not me. Not today.
No. Don't ask me what I ate.
We just eat
yesterday.
pizza in Italy. You know, people from outside Italy, we had pizza, and before that, we had pasta. Yeah, all the time.
So actually, this metric topic, it's really interesting because no one would say they're not important. Like everyone would say they're important, we should track them, we're not doing. Or even those who do that, like those who measure the adoption, like Sara and everybody else. Yeah. Also, there are a lot of people not a lot, but a few of the people we interviewed, they actually do measure the adoption, but we know it's actually not enough by itself. Why? I mean, it's the last time we're going to see this. Okay. Adoption itself, it's not enough. Like, of course, adoption is important. Don't get me wrong. Adoption is important. And it's a good indicator on how
Yeah.
things are going.
I mean, at least you're using it. Like if you have a design system and you don't use it, it's for sure a failure, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. We often ask a lot, like, how are you doing with the adoption? We will ask that for sure again. That's an important question. But using adoption as the most important metric implies that the goal of the design system is to get used to, like, to use that.
It's like a circular reference.
Yeah, I mean, it's really weak.
Yeah, the goal of goals is goals.
Yeah, the goal of the tool is to use the tool. I mean, yeah, like it's not wrong, but that's not really effective.
We can do better. Yeah,
we can do better. So what is happening in this story is that the team measuring the adoption as the main result is having a confusion between measuring the health of the tool, and by health I mean like is the tool used, how well, how bad, how are things going with the tool, like, and in this sense adoption is in this kind of topic. And another question is making sure that this tool has an impact on something that you really care on. So adoption works well as a metric to measure if the tool is used and how well it's used, but where can you see if the tool is useful as a mean for something?
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know if people think about measuring in this way. I don't know if anyone has ever thought about that.
Even other people.
Yes.
Out of the
like it could be a good moment to share, like
yeah, like how are you tracking that in your company? I'd love to read that.
Or if you ever thought about this, like the weakness of adoption as a metric per se of the design system, because as we mentioned, like all the like most of the articles you will read about measuring the impact of design system will mention adoption as like a metric you cannot miss.
Yeah, I'm afraid that we've been a little bit harsh on adoption.
No,
and you listener of people crowd, I'm looking at my phone right now. This is so weird, but yeah, I mean, if you're actually using adoption, I mean, it's a good start, but probably we've been a little bit harsh on that. Oh, what could it be? How faster are screens / flows being delivered? How much less friction is there in the end of to that? I mean, this is a good way.
Or design and development team working faster.
Yeah. Satisfaction and fatigue of workers that are adopting the design system versus the workers that don't use it. Very good as well. The upvoting feedbacks and number of requests of upgrade. Also a good way.
Good thoughts. Okay, yeah.
So, well, the problem is that, at least from what we observe, I'm not going to spoiler too much of the slides next. The problem is that you don't have an absolute way to measure it. That's the fregatura.
Maybe I read.
Yeah, the big joke about design system, because we are trying to find an absolute way to measure it, while it's more tactical in the single places that you are enforcing it. And I think that the next slide is going to start.
Yes, but I see your point. Like even when I Google like proving the value of design system, like at that point I feel like we are kind of looking for a final answer. We're like, okay, but give me the metric.
So I can win.
Yeah, and then I cannot think about this topic anymore.
Because since it's a tool, if you think about it, you don't Google value of a sneaker.
Of a hammer.
Or a hammer. You Google how best sneaker to run, right? Or best hammer. Have you ever Googled best hammer?
Not yet. Not yet. Well,
Alex.
Well, okay. So we're talking about let's say adoption works, but can we think also in a better way about measuring the value? Like, what can we do more?
Hopefully.
What is this tool, which is the design system? Like, where can it have an impact? What can impact most? So what is enabled in your company, in your product, by the presence of the design system? If you think about this question, like I really invite you to think about this question for your specific case, for your team or your product, your company. Like, what type of shape takes this answer when you think about this in your company or in your product? Because it could have a specific meaning related to a specific initiative maybe that you're carrying on right now.
So it's more like the goals around the delivery of the product and the interfaces, and less on the tool that you're using to deliver the interface, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's good. Catch.
It's the first time that I see the slides.
Yes. And regarding this, we can give you some ideas on where design system like shows its best impact, and really like it's so provable that it works and it has a power.
It Beyonce's. So I'm using Beyonce as a verb.
I like that. I love that.
Design system Beyonce's.
Beyonce, yes, it shines in the space of tools. Yes. Okay. Where are these Beyonce moments?
Yeah, when is the most Beyonce?
When you have changes in the interfaces at scale. So when you need to have small or big changes in the interface across maybe multiple devices or multiple brands, and you need to manage those changes at scale, that's where design system.
Wait. I know you want to go to the next slide. Do we have any idea, chat? Like, what are changes at scale of an interface of a product? I'm very curious to see if you can
guess.
Yeah, guess the next slide from Sara. I'm happy because I'm doing a lot of these live polls, and I thought maybe people are annoyed by that, but we're still 50 participants strong.
I wanted to see the next slide.
Come on, Gianluca, you were always answering to the question. You're also in Trento. Give a break the ice for us, please. Gianluca right now is dying, probably. I'm really sorry.
Thank you, Gianluca. Okay, well.
Team efficiency, helps onboarding new designers faster. Right. This might be a question that we saw back in the days. Like when you have to ramp up the growth of the company, you want to hire a bunch of new people. And those people, it takes a lot of time to give them the tools to learn. And that is where you can help with the design system. This is very good.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, okay, great.
Thank you very much, Jesse. That was very insightful. But let's go to product moment, right? Product moments.
Yes.
What do we have? What do we have, Sara?
So changes at scale happens when you have, for example, a rebrand. So you need to adapt the interfaces of your product to a new logo or a new color palette, new typeface. This could take quarters to be implemented if you have like a large product. With like tokens of your design systems, like fixing that, you probably have it in days or weeks.
Yeah, we did it once with Belka, with the new brand with the hands. It took like, I think, a semester. And we have also a very small touch point, which is just the website. So
that's a case where design system shines. Another is a refactor. So you're rebuilding part of the product with existing pieces that works.
Yeah, like you're changing from Angular to React, or you're also refactoring the design, for example, from Sketch to Figma. I mean, basically everything that begins with array, right?
No, remigration. Sorry, remigration. I mean, that could have been a good idea. Well, you need to change tool or something like that, or migrate. Yeah, from like a technological point of view, the product. This is also a moment where design system like has clearly an impact. You have also product merge. So if you're merging different products, or if you're merging part of a product into an existing one.
Like if you buy a competitor and you want to integrate the parts into...
That's probably a moment where you need to change the interfaces in like in an important way. Maybe the intervention are not that big, but they are extended.
Yeah.
And they need to be consistent across all the screens or the flows. That's where design system really has a value.
We've seen that.
Another, if you're launching like a sub brand, or if you need to rebuild a flow for another target. So like, okay, we need to like onboard a new segment of our target. So we're launching to, I don't know, a new segment, and we need an onboarding which kind of resembles the onboarding we have right now, but it needs to have some changes. Like you can rebuild that from zero, but if you do have the design system, that's a lot quicker.
So we're all talking about big initiative on the product that are not obvious. So like, for example, a new feature, or, I mean, I expect to have these kind of tools, but those are very specific, like big impact moment that if you don't have a solid design system, you might have
that's where you probably
yeah.
want to, like, you want to have the design system before those type of moments. Like if a rebrand happens and you don't have the design system.
Yeah, that would take ages.
Enjoy the rebrand without design system.
Not fun.
Another moment is if you are reorganizing the teams, and that kind of,
That was Jesse.
yes, that was what Jesse was saying. Like you're making the team grow. You're onboarding new people on the teams. That's where you want part of the team to learn how to deliver interfaces. Probably those who they don't know about these interfaces yet or things like that. And design system, it's a good tool, working as like a documentation tool mainly, that helps the team to create the interface faster.
Yeah.
Yes, all of this is possible because design system have like tokens, for example, that you can change, and they update obviously the interface at scale, like across all the devices. So you're not touching interface like screen per screen, the logo or the color.
Yeah.
You're just touching one point, which then expands its changes to all the interface.
Yeah, I would also add that this is especially important for front-end development, not just for design. I mean, of course, we're talking about design systems, so most of you will probably be designers, but if anyone from front-end development is here and online right now, please make us aware, because we love you. Like at the end of the day, the only result that counts is what people are there to interact with, and that's not Figma. So if you have a solid design system, and most importantly, on the development side of your company, maybe you're not even calling it a design system. Maybe you're just calling it the storybook or the component library. But that, in the case of, for example, a big rebrand, that's something that will save a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Thanks to hello, Annalisa from the development world.
Yes, that's true, Giulio. So you can think about design system as an enabler of another initiative on the product, like an enabler of the rebrand. And at that point, you don't even need to take care of design system per se. It's just a way to make the rebrand happening in a shorter way. And you can prove the value by showing that you did that in days and not like quarters, because you can estimate like how long it would take to like rebuild the product.
Yeah, so it's more like linking the design system initiative to the bigger company initiative, less than starting with the design system, which
the metrics.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
In this way, the most valuable part of the design system, it's not having it or having it like with all the fixes that you need, like the tokens or whatever. The important thing is that with design system, you create a connected product, and you have basically a connected system where you can propagate some changes like in the blink of an eye. So that happens really fast, and that's really the highest expression of having a design system.
Yeah, we've seen that with Da Vinci, right? It's this Italian company, they rebranded the whole product, and we work with them on the design system. That was very quick to make. They also had, it was very interesting to observe, because they had two teams, one working with the design system and the other one that wasn't. Yeah. And it took like an order of magnitude of time of difference between the two of them, or like the US people like to say, 10x. 10x.
No, yeah, but
okay, we have a raised hand. I don't know how to treat that.
We didn't expect.
Well, we will handle that through the questions later on.
Feel
free to write down the question. We will go back to that. I don't know how.
If you were waving, hi. No, wait. That's a question. Great.
We will go back to that in a few minutes after the end of the big presentation. Still like 5 slides or so.
Yes. So we mentioned a couple of initiatives on the product where design system has the most value. A common question could be, okay, but what if like I'm not rebranding right now? Or what if I don't have like to rebuild the product or merge two products?
I mean, good for you. Those are very bad issues. So if you can move that,
avoid that. Yeah, great.
I mean,
for now.
If you can grow in different ways, that's very complicated.
Great. Still, design system can have like a space and a voice in bringing an impact on the product. So again, the question for you is, what can you enable in your company linked to product goals with the design system? Some examples are time saved in feature development, So you're obviously reusing components that already exist, and this speeds up the delivery. But again, one could say the result is that we speed it up, like we speed up the delivery. But
you also have less code to maintain, which
yes,
is always a big save. I mean,
tech debt.
yeah, on
that,
the like the
yes.
byproduct of going faster is that you have less code, so you will be faster in the future maintaining the stuff that you already have. So
yeah. Or another way to think about that, it's not only thinking about you speed up the delivery, which of course, again, it's like a good metric, but it's again, it could be like a metric like I don't know, self-explained. Like again, where does the speed impact in the product?
right.
And here you can say, like, you can notice that if you are quicker in the development and in the release of feature or product updates, you can do more experiments. So you have time to do another, like to learn quicker and do another experiments. And in the end, you're growing faster because you have more information to make decisions and you can reach your goals faster.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you can just test your product against the market, like real people. You can do all the user research, user testing, fake doors, whatever you want. But in the end, it's how the people interact with the actual product. So you need to be fast iterating on that. And it's usually one of the part that are the most expensive in the entire company. Because I mean, product team usually it ain't cheap. So yeah, you want to be as much as efficient as you can.
So yes, to sum up, I'd say measure the design system against what is important in your product right now or for your team right now. Be it like how fast you implemented a rebrand or another like product initiatives that you have currently going on. The important thing to me is like to measure it in your case or to try to articulate that at least in your case and for your product, and try not to generalize or say it speeds up like the collaboration between developers and designers. I mean, it's true. How does it show itself in your company?
Yeah, and how is it linked with the thing that you want to achieve, with the company that you want to be in the future? Yeah. Right, that was it, right?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you very much, Sara. I know you can't like applause, but if you want to send your cheers in the chat, Sara is super happy to read that. Right. Well, come on. No.
Beautiful moment. So cringe.
So,
I hope it never.
yeah. So that was it for the informative part of today. I would also like to really thank our sponsor of today, which is Belka. We're launching our latest service. It's called Design System Checkup. So if you feel that your design system is not the best version of itself, it feels a little bit sick, it has nausea or other symptoms that are correlated with a health issue with your design system, we could be a very good help, very good partner for you. We can put back your design system on track in, I believe, 3 weeks. That's usually what we saw in the past. Usual issues are trouble getting started, questions about governance. So who's the person in charge of the design system? If the answer is the design team, that's not a good sign. You're trying to figure it out which tool you want to use, if you have adoption issues, or if you're wondering how to measure success. I mean, you had a lot of good insight from Sara today, but well, we can do that together. We already did it with a lot of different companies all around Europe. And if you're interested about that, is bit.y/DSI system checkup, or if your company is blocking Bitly because you're a bank, we know this is an issue. Serena or Alex, I don't know who's there in charge about this, already shared the link in the chat. So that's enough about chatting by ourselves. So let's go to our favorite moment, which are questions. If you have any, feel free to write it down. It's a button down there on Zoom. And I also remember to every one of you that this will be all available on YouTube once Alex put it online, or Serena or Enrico. I don't know how many people are in this room. Actually, it's obviously just me and Sara. All right.
Okay.
So do you mind starting with questions?
Let's start.
Which one is your favorite one?
We can start from these.
I like example questions. Can we? Like, risposta dal vivo. What happens if we click there?
So we are answering right now the example question, and we
It's an example
that.
answer.
Okay, this is an example.
Okay, so that's
answer. Okay, we ended at that. Okay, next one. Okay, now let's take the first one. Well, let's go in order. How do you move the design system from Figma to the actual interface? What's the process and the dialogue between the designers and the developers?
Well, this is a very good question. We also, I think, registered a webinar about handoff, right, Serena? We have a webinar about handoff on the website somewhere. Yeah, all right. So that could be a good primer if you have questions about that. And the short answer, because that was a webinar alone, so that's a lot of work. The quick answer for me is shift left. What does shift left mean? Shifting left means that this is the timeline of your project, this being right and this being left, and you want to gather as much information about the delivery of the project to the left. Meaning that if this is the design phase, design, and then you start developer, this means that during the whole phase of design, you miss the opportunity to get communication in between the two teams. And that's very bad. So what I usually suggest is having a big workshop at the beginning where you tackle how you want to put things in place, and most importantly, what you want to achieve. And you have a common ground towards all the stakeholders of the initiative, which is usually not just developers. I mean, it's not just front-end developers, it's also back-end developers. It's also, if you're going to communicate the feature, it's marketing. I mean, you have to get stakeholder alignment at the beginning, because if you have later on, you won't be able to shift left, because the timeline that I show you is based on time, and time, you can ruin that. So you shift left as much as you can, and then you get iteration of design not longer than 1 week, and you get feedback on that from developers. So that's why we usually tackle that. Again, there is much more material about this. Once we have the link, we will share it in the chat. It's a big topic, but the simplest recommendation is get the most of the information as soon as you can at the beginning of the project and during all the design phase, and don't jump to the development just once you feel the design is right or is finished, because it's never finished. It's never right.
I'd add, just if you're wondering at the end of the design phase, like, what type of components do we have in the library of developers? That's not like a really, like, that's a classic of something is not going like properly in your team, like in the communication between design and developers. So if you notice you had this type of question at the end of the design phase, or like really late, like, oh, what type of component do we have in the design system? That could be something to work on.
All right. So Lydia, if you have more like in-depth questions, feel free to add it. We will try to answer as many as we can in the queue. We still have 15 minutes, so.
Great. How detailed should a design system be if we were an agency of 20 people? Well,
let's
risposta. Okay.
Yes.
From like
slap like.
I will go with the to go answer, but I will explain why. It depends, and now I'll go with why.
Classic consultant. I mean,
I know.
Look at you. What have you become?
Why does it? Why?
I have a question before starting, Maya. You are working for an agency, meaning that you're not like a product company. You got your own product and you're working on that. You're working for other companies. Is that correct? Big suspense. Very big suspense.
Tension.
Will Maya be still online? Because she might be not.
Correct. Sorry. It was my fault. Sorry.
I was on the, but it's a product oriented. So she's probably reusing the design system with different scenarios to make the work faster.
As an internal tool for...
Yeah, like Tailwind.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I'd say that, so the question is how detailed. I'd reframe how detailed in like, what are the problems that we need to tackle, or what are the most like common challenges that we have when in the, let's say, multiple projects. So it's something we see not like once in a while, but in multiple projects, we have this recurring challenge, this recurring like thing, like we really need to update variables like manually for the colors. I don't know. This could be like a signal that you need to take care of your tokens or variables system or whatever. So I'd suggest to start from which are like the main challenges and issues and to tackle that, because a risk we often see with design system is to go too detailed, like to over document, over detail the design system.
I mean, because it's fun in a way.
I mean, yeah, you
it's
can
a way of
take care.
procrastinating.
Yes,
Yeah,
I mean, it's
right.
really nice. You can take care of something which is like yours, totally yours. So I understand that. Still, like there is a big risk of like doing too much. So what I suggest to Maya is be careful in not doing too much.
Yeah, I can share you how we are doing it. So aside from over documentation, which is still an issue also in our company, it happens, it's normal. But what I'm seeing is that there is a bunch, like a core group of components that you use for most of the projects. Like all the projects will have a button, right? It's really hard to find a project without a button or an input or a drop down. So what you want to have in your agency is the core, the parts that you are sharing toward all the project or most of the project, right? And then working with some specific customer, you will probably have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 very specific components because they are in a specific industry or because they're working with some kind of weird things. I still remember we worked with this company, they were running drones to get photos of industrial areas. So it's super niche, super specific. And they obviously have some parts that are not things that you expect to find in a digital product. So those parts are always custom. But for the rest, I suggest trying to have something that contains all the things that are normal, usually contained in a project. I will also build on that. I suggest Tailwind or something like that. I mean, I suggest to customize something like Tailwind, or back in the days we were using Bootstrap, because those have all the parts that are in common. And moreover, on top of that, you can also start asking to the company that you're working with if they already have a framework that they like. In Belka, we really like Tailwind because it works well between Figma and React, which is our framework of choice. But they might be using Angular and Material UI, and that's perfectly legit. It's okay. You just have to be sure that you're not building something from scratches, because in that moment, you're trying to swim against the direction of the company. That is very hostile. I think we are good with that. Okay.
Do you use any tools for design system adoption and analytics like Omelette? Oh, we heard about that. Yeah. So wait. So Alberto,
we're a fan of Omelettes.
We heard about that. Yes. Actually, from those who tried that in our company, and also people we know there, they said like I heard some comments like they still need to fix something.
You know, I was talking about omelettes with eggs.
Okay, sorry, I was talking about the tool. Okay, so Omelette, for those who there could be people who maybe do not know, it's a tool to measure the adoption of the components of the design system, I think, in the code. And this is something like really important, because there are a lot of plugins that measure the adoption on Figma, whereas measuring the code adoption, it's a lot harder. We heard some cases about that. For example, Doctolib, they are measuring the adoption for the design part. They are not able still to measure that on the code side. That's a bit hard. So what I'd say is that I'm not sure I know people that measure the adoption code side, like code-wise, in a proper way. Mostly they start from design, which is a bit easier, but still what I don't like about measuring just the design is that you're still missing the developmental part, which is very important.
Yeah. I read a good article on Medium. I don't remember the title though. It's from someone working in the dating industry that was measuring how much code they were writing. So the less code you write, the better is the adoption of the design system, because you have less code. So you're reusing the component, and I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, like it's a lagging indicator that something is happening. Yeah.
So, well, if you follow me on LinkedIn, I might go back and find the article and share it there.
Yeah. So to answer Alberto, I actually don't know people who measure the adoption in the code. If in the code base, if someone is doing, please feel free to write us. We're happy to chat with you, because we heard like really just a few cases that measure the adoption, let's say Figma wise. So development is still, I think there are still some things going on and happening also with the tool to help us doing that.
Might be the next webinar, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
thanks. It was a very good question. Thank you, Belka.
Yes. Do you use mainly Figma for design system, or also Sketch or Adobe XD, or what else? We are using mainly Figma.
For design system. I mean, it's the other way around. We are using like design systems for, I might be losing the meaning of words right now, sorry. Yeah, we recommend using Figma. You don't want to try to, I mean, Adobe XD is officially dead. Adobe is not maintaining Adobe XD in the future. It will never happen again. They abandoned the project, and they also tried to buy Figma, and then the European Union said, nice bait, mate. You're too big. You're not trying to expand any farther in this direction. You're not like Google, right? And on the other hand, I mean, Sketch made some progress, but I feel that unless you're having the complete necessity to have the files in your company, I'm talking about probably Apple. Yeah. It's the only company that I can think of, or banks or stuff that is super secretive. I suggest using Figma. And I think that also if you have that kind of needs, you probably can talk to enterprise plan of Figma, and they probably have something for you. So yeah, for the rest of us, Figma is more than enough. So we have a big question.
Guys. Based on your experience, I'm working on a tablet-based, no mobile rehabilitation app. We are using the library from Google Material Design 2. How do you feel about migrating to 3? Material Design.
Should it better to edit and refresh the Material Design 2 library directly on the app without migrating? I'm the only designer and I'm working on that though. So this is the classic question that we receive about design systems that is kind of meta in this moment, because you see, you have some company goals, which I can't see right now, because I'm sure that migrating to Material Design 3 is not the company goal per se. You probably have the need of expanding the product, or make the product up to date to the today's standards, because maybe you have low evaluation on the App Store because of the Material Design 2 library. I mean, there is some core issue that you're trying to solve thanks to the migration to Material Design 2 to Material Design 3, right? No one is migrating from 2 to 3 for fun. Very few people are doing that, at least. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but most of the people that are in the complete situation of having their mind under control are migrating towards libraries just for fun. So I will make a step back and asking, how big is the priority of this thing right now? Like, is this like the core issue that you have in your company or not? And if so, when do you want it ready, and how many resources are you dedicating to this? Because obviously migrating this using material like as a design system, except for the components that you will probably have that are owned by your own product, the specifics of your own product, obviously the design system would help. But how many energies you want to put on this activity? That's the hard question. Like how much you want to push on the pedal.
That's true.
Yeah. So I feel that probably in this specific case, in order to give you a proper answer, I would need to ask questions to the leadership of the company, which was why I was saying at the beginning of the project, you want to have everyone in the leadership roles to give their opinion, so you have stakeholder alignment.
On board.
Yeah. So short answer is a design system would help you immensely in this task. But I can answer on how many resources, how much time, how much money, if you should put on that, because that's something that you need to see in the grand scheme of things and not just on the specific initiative. Yeah. You want to add something?
No, that was clear enough.
I mean, it was the spirit of your talk, so I'm just stealing from you.
Nice. Okay. Thanks for the presentation and the humor. Oh, thank you. Okay, no, wait. What are your thoughts on the architecture of the design system? Should it stick as much as possible to the dev logic or the design visual logic? Sometimes these are two different things.
Spicy.
I'd say there are two different languages as well. So I think that we discussed like with our teams like some time ago, design and development side. We talked about the same components with different names.
Yeah, we have another webinar about this, but I believe it's in Italian, right, Serena? The one about swap properties with Mattia. Is that in Italian?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
No? It's not online?
Not yet.
Huh.
Okay, well.
We should talk to Alex.
Okay. Well, still, like if we can intend the dev logic and design logic as like also the languages of design and development, then I'd say these are two different things. Like if you're asking, should it be design side or like should it be more as the development language or design language? Well,
honestly,
it doesn't.
No,
like,
it's a tricky question.
Could I like? I mean, I think the important thing is that you agree on something.
Right.
Like if it's the design and development language, like that's not important at all.
Stop arguing, Mama and Papa, please.
Yeah, come on. Agree on something. So, for example, we agreed on the development language because it was easier. Like it made sense. We were like, okay, we can agree on that. We can get used to name things like that. We're fine. Another time, like we could have, I don't know, design language on something that works best because, I don't know, they use less word, for example. So agree on something. That's the important thing.
That's why I was saying it's a tricky question because you are implying that there is a right way.
No, that's
it's like design or development. While the thing is that when the design system is well built, and can I also say that I hate the name design system?
Yeah, you can say that.
It's just plain wrong. It should be interface system, because you're delivering interfaces and not just design.
Yeah.
I don't know why people came up with design system. I mean, design is obviously a key part of the thing, but you have to merge design and development if you want to deliver to the users.
Create a unique language.
Right.
And at that point, choose the convention that you want. It's not important.
Right. So you want to build a bridge between designers and developers, so you can have a common language, a shared language. So the issue is, how many times are you looking at a component and someone asks you, how should I implement this? Because that means that probably the convention that you're using, aside from the fact that design or development have decided that, the convention is not working. The lingua franca that you're using between the two elements is not in there. You're just working on your small part of the garden and looking at your garden, you're saying, that's my garden, it's perfect, I love it. And then all around you, there are flames, and you're saying, this is fine. This is fine. Yes.
So yeah, agree on something. That's the thing.
Okay.
You catch the big problem of design system, which is like create a shared language. So good catch.
So that was our last question. We'd love to reply to more, but it's 17, at least here, not in Mexico. We learned. It was fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us. We are replicating new webinars probably in a couple of weeks, right, Alex? Alex is saying yes. So if you want to stay up to date about all the things that we are talking about design system, webinar, articles, and much more stuff that is coming on, belkadigital.com/newsletter, subscribe. If you appreciated the webinar and you think that there is that friend that is very sad about the rebrand, the interfaces that are not delivering quite fast, and should ask for help? Do you have any idea, Sara?
I mean, they could ask for help.
To who? Enrico.
Yeah.
Who they should ask?
Help.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. So Belka, and we will be very happy to meet your friends and treat them at the best that we can to have them unstuck their design system or start the practice in their company. Speaking about, we already have a next webinar ready. It's how to start a design system. It's a good question that I'm very happy that will be answered because I have no idea. So you can register now. And how? Just go on the chat. Serena should have shared the link to subscribe to the next event. And I hope that we will see you on the next webinars. Thank you very much.
Thank you.